Students make I'm not going to read the whole topic.
Read the topic.
Make invasive DIY facial recognition glasses. I'm going to summarize it, okay? Because we reported on this on TechLink. Some students from Harvard. Okay, fine, I'll just read it. 2 Harvard students set up a system that uses a video feed from their Meta smart glasses to automatically scan the faces of strangers, identify them, and compile dossiers of personal information such as jobs, personal associations, phone numbers, and addresses. While the system made the occasional error, notably it once flagged a young woman as her identical twin.
Oops.
Broken.
Awkward.
Throw it out. The students were able to use this system to approach several strangers and greet them by name while pretending to be an acquaintance or a fan of their work. How creepy would that be?
I mean, it's happened. I found LA is actually the worst for that.
And this is what's funny. It's like, hey, you want to feel what it's like to be famous for a second? Or to be a upper mid-tier YouTube celebrity? The students have published a paper detailing their experiment, which they say was intended as a demonstration of what is already possible with current technology. Tech giants like Google and Meta have considered putting facial recognition into smart glasses in the past, and they have. Google has dismissed the idea due to safety and legal concerns after making a product already, but that's here. Whereas Meta's reasons for not pursuing it are unclear. Meta has not yet committed to not using the footage or images from their smart glasses for use in data scraping or AI training. I mean, that's all screwed.
They've actually...
Thank you, Riley. That is the summary.
No, as in the whole, like, don't use it for AI training. Everything is being used for AI training already.
Yeah, and they've essentially actually said the opposite. Zuckerberg on a podcast thingamajigger said that he wants you to have personal AIs that are powered by things like the glasses so that they have context of everything in your life.
Yeah. So, but, like, that's one thing because it's your personal AI. I think a lot of people are probably okay with you feeding, if it's encrypted and everything.
Oh yeah.
If you feed your data into a personal AI and no one ever gets it except you.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I feel like the lighting on my face is perfect for this story. It's like dystopian.
Yeah, it kind of is.
It's like, I am your personal AI.
Your Two-Face.
I mean, okay. What else do we have to say? I feel like this was actually a good topic. You guys should continue discussing it, but I have to go review TechLink.
Okay.
Okay.
I really have to go. I can't stay.
We could bring you a laptop. You could just do it behind the set.
What's that?
Do you want to just have a laptop? You could do it there.
You can review it on...
Yeah, you just hide behind the laptops.
I think next show I'll come back and I'll be back here and you guys probably won't know until I say something.
What's funny about this topic to me is that you and I have actually talked about this many times in the past. And
actually close to the whole time we've known each other.
And if you go back far enough, because Luke and I both suffer from some form of undiagnosed face blindness / just complete inability to remember people's names. And we have talked about this many times in the past, how what would ultimately sell us, going all the way back to like the launch of Google Glass, what would ultimately sell us on this technology would be if it could serve as like a Rolodex, essentially. When you're at a party or social function or a work event, and it'll just tell you, okay, that's who that is. Bring up the last email that I exchanged with them. Tell me like how many kids they have so I can ask how their kids are doing. And if you go back far enough, you and I were naive enough / the world hadn't descended into dystopia enough that we were actually bullish on it and wanted it. Now, I read about this thing that I asked for, that I wanted, because it would be really helpful to me in my daily life. And I look at it and I go, holy shit, this is fucked. We're fucked. Yeah. Everything's fucked.
Yeah, well, because I think the thing that we were wrong about, and I think a lot of people, including us, were wrong about these types of things, were that we thought it was going to be ours. Like the whole Rolodex idea was that you knew these people.
Yeah.
You were essentially inputting this information. It was checking locally to your information and then letting you know. And that's just not going to be what it is, because data makes the world go round. So instead of it being yours, it's going to be Zuck's or whoever else's, and you're going to be checking against their information and giving them more information, also known as updated facial recognition information for these people to make sure that it's more accurate. And any data and analysis that you're able to scrape from that moment is going to go up as well. It's going to share into a pool.
I also didn't think about, at that time, maybe I was just younger and more naive, right? Like, I didn't think about an authoritarian government using this technology.
Oh, yeah.
To keep track of absolutely everyone and where they go and what they do and who they see.
Police officers or whoever else. Yeah. Because they already have it in cameras. So that's not really new. But this would be, give them to police officers, facial recognize, figure out if they have like outstanding warrants or whatever else.
But it's not just like the outstanding warrants. Like, this could tell people...
Suspect level.
All kinds of stuff about people. Right?
That comes down to, we have another topic that we'll talk about later, but it's the Minority Report thing.
Yeah, like Buddy here frequents, the seedy theater, on 6th Street. And that might and that might be factually true, right? But that could activate someone's prejudices. You know what I mean? So it's not like, I don't even mind if it scans someone and it's like there's an outstanding warrant for their arrest. That sounds actually reasonably helpful.
This one, like, say there's a riot going on. Because every time that there's a riot, there's some people that are, involved with the bad things in the riot, and other people just trying to get away.
And it's like, that woman voted for Hillary Clinton.
And this riot is based around whatever, so she has an increased likeliness of being one of the people that is involved with the damaging of cars, so arrest her, even though you didn't see it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that level of, and if you think law enforcement doesn't profile, they do. They 100% profile, and you give them more and more tools to profile. I don't know if I want to live on this planet anymore.
I had a conversation recently where I was I mentioned that I want to die on Mars, and I was like, yeah, that just increases over time.
Handyman says, to be fair, I think you should mention the story is kind of exaggerated. Since you can already achieve this using your mobile phone camera or any kind of camera, it's basically just calling third-party services.
It's the subtlety.
And we did acknowledge that it already exists. That's their whole point, is that this already exists. But it's the form factor that's scary, because somebody can walk into a bathroom wearing a pair of glasses. You can't walk into a bathroom with your phone out, streaming data to some third-party, image identification service, unless your name is Guy, whatever his last name is. Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like no, like cool person walks into a bathroom with their camera out. That's a pretty normal-looking pair of glasses.
Those are just glasses.
That's what's scary about it. And the fact that you're right, this is just totally a thing that already exists, is exactly their point. They're not developing this as a product. They're not even trying to. They're not even releasing what they've done. And to your point, what they've done is not a huge technical achievement. All they did was take off-the-shelf stuff and hook it into other off-the-shelf stuff. But that's the point. Right now, today, you could have someone walking around, it disorderly says, but you can buy a spy camera that looks like a pen you clip into your pocket. Yeah, absolutely. But it's the ease. Yeah. It's the ease, and it's the integrations, and it's the smoothness of the workflow. Like, if you just have a pen, if you just have a pen camera sticking out of your pocket, and what you have to ultimately do is like go home at the end of the day and ingest that footage and then crunch it on your multi GPU server cluster and retroactively go back and figure out who you interacted with that day. Like, that's what we'd be talking about 10 years ago, right? That wasn't that scary. But this whole real-time, how many kids do you have and what are their names and, where did you go to school? And like, dude, that's scary.
I still want the local Rolodex thing where like you have to input the information of the people. But then that doesn't even work because I'm sure there's just going to be databases you can download or you can use it.
That data will leak.
Yeah.
All data will leak. Leaky data. It's leaky condos. It's just leaky data.
Leaky condos.
I'm just saying, it's a widespread problem. Leaky data. It's gonna cause all kinds of trouble, dude. You see, 23andMe's in trouble. Oh, that whole data set's gonna end up with someone. I'm so thrilled.
I'm sure.
I'm so thrilled that relatives of mine have used these services. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
Really, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And like every time we talk about this kind of stuff, and we'll have people in the audience that are like, yeah, but like legally insurance providers can't use that data. And guys, laws change. Laws change. The only thing...
And people ignore them.
Yeah, that too. That too. If laws mattered, then we wouldn't be where we are today.
I can pretty much guarantee you every single person in this building currently has broken the law at least once.
Sure. I probably sped in my car on the way here today.
I probably did as well.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, right? So, whether it's...
So just to give some insight on that, I bet you every single person that drove in BC did.
Yeah, our
one follows the speed limits here.
They're too low.
Where it would be dangerous if you did so.
I watched a really interesting documentary like ages ago. I've looked for it multiple times and I haven't been able to find it. So it must have been pulled off of YouTube or something. It must have been copyrighted. But it was basically like an investigation into our speed limits and why they're too low and why it's like actually dangerous and they just need to go up and how the provincial government just ignores it for the most part. Really interesting.
It's wacky, man. You'll be driving with a police car behind you, following the pace of traffic, like 20 kilometers an hour above the speed limit. Yep. Police car's not lighting you up.
And they'll like go around.
Yeah. They'll also get frustrated because you're actually going too slow. Yep. It's just like, what is this? Like, what? Oh, man. What a joke. Anyways.
Yeah, Kasul Cat in Floatplane Chat says, and this is such an example. This is such a great example of how laws are often so sort of myopic in their implementation. It goes, legally, I can't ask age in a job interview because that could lead to age-based discrimination. I added the end part there. So I ask when you graduated from college. It's like, yeah, you make a law, sometimes with a really solid intent. Age-based discrimination, that's bad, okay? But people are gonna find a way around it. They're gonna find a way to technically, either they're gonna just do something illegal in a way where they're not gonna get caught, or they're gonna find a loophole. They're gonna find a way to technically get around it. It's just our data is not going to be protected. These products are absolutely going to end up in nefarious hands, and I'm so uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
And then, out of the other side of my mouth, I talk about how I want to do like automated scorekeeping at the badminton center and how we could use facial recognition to track people's gameplay and, whatever else. In fairness to me, I trust myself to store that data only locally on site. But maybe I shouldn't.
And that still doesn't technically mean that it's invulnerable.
And it doesn't. And it, I hate to open this can of worms again, but let's say that, I died. Or I sold the company, or whatever else. There might be an expectation.
So I'm not laughing because he said I'm going to die. I'm laughing because I realize the can of worms that he's mentioning that he's opening. Yeah. My bad.
My point is that data sitting there could be seen as a treasure trove by whoever inherits or purchases that business.
And you saw what happened with the servers at NCIX?
Yeah.
Like this happened.
The hypothetical that I'm talking about right now actually happened at NCIX. The owner didn't die, but the data was not managed correctly, and people who ended up with servers from the auction ended up with customer data from the auction. That absolutely happened. Mm-hmm.